Well, I have for you potentially the most fantastic segment I've done in a really long time. This is so incredible. We'll dive in all these clips. The context is that Republicans were holding a hearing deciding on if they're going to hold Hunter Biden in criminal contempt of Congress. Hunter Biden brilliantly but unexpectedly shows up at the hearing and just everything unravels into chaos. Democrats pounce on the moment perfectly. And to be honest, repeatedly humiliate Republicans on live TV as we're about to watch. Just mayhem, but beautiful mayhem. By the way, I'll note this is sort of a breaking news on the fly segment. So some of this I'll be watching for the very first time along with you. We'll go through this experience together, but of what I've seen, it's pretty dang incredible. Here's the context from CNN. Hunter Biden unexpectedly made a short appearance at a Capitol Hill hearing Wednesday as House Republicans were starting the process of holding the president's son in criminal contempt of Congress for not complying with a congressional subpoena to sit for a closed-door deposition last month. So you might remember the time that Hunter Biden showed up at the Capitol. That was when he was supposed to come for a closed-door deposition based on the Republicans' subpoena. And so Republicans subpoenaed Hunter Biden, wanting him to come for this closed-door deposition. Hunter Biden said, I think correctly, I'll come, but it has to be in public. I have to do a public hearing because, James Comer, you have a long, horrible record of misconstruing what happens in these closed-door depositions and cherry-picking quotes out of context to build some sort of dishonest narrative about the Biden crime family. So I'll answer any of your questions, however conspiratorial about my dad's goings on, but it has to be publicly. Okay, they said no, even though previously they said they wanted that, but now we won't do it publicly at first. It has to be privately because we have to be able to misconstrue it. And so Hunter Biden did show up to the Capitol, but not for the closed-door deposition. That's where he delivered those remarks that we covered. And so this time, now they're having their hearing deciding on if they're going to hold him in criminal contempt, and he shows up, everything goes crazy. Starting off with this, here's him entering. Then we'll watch some clips of Republicans reacting, Democrats reacting. It's all brilliant.
To really show that he is making every effort to comply with the subpoena to appear for a deposition. Time and time again, he said he's willing to talk to Republicans, at least in a public setting. You can see right now we have this scrum of reporters. If you can just shoot the camera over there. We have this scrum of reporters. It looks like Hunter Biden is there. Excuse me.
Take the hole.
Sir, are you worried about being held in contempt? If you guys can see this right now, we are with Hunter Biden.
Make a hole. Make a hole. Everybody, make a hole. Stand left or right. We'll start pushing people out the way. That doesn't help. Out the way.
Sorry, it's a little crowded right here, guys. Hunter Biden is not talking, but he is walking in right now to the hearing.
So this is what you'd call a stunt, but a brilliant stunt. And it is him physically showing, look, I'm willing to show up. I'm willing to have you ask me questions and I'll answer them, but it has to be publicly. I'll note that, and we'll get to a clip to this effect in a little bit, Republicans still didn't take him up on the offer. Now here is Nancy Mace responding to Hunter Biden showing up. I'll also preview that we'll get to Marjorie Greene and Hunter Biden choosing a very specific time to leave the room. And it was during Marjorie Greene's remarks. It was perfect. She got very upset. We'll get to that in a second. But first, Nancy Mace here. A little bit of Raskin, then you'll hear Mace.
They pulled a bait and switch. They changed the terms of their request. They rejected his offer or his acceptance of their offer and insisted that he now come in and sit for a secret closed-door deposition. On December 6th, Hunter Biden's lawyer reiterated that Hunter Biden was willing to accept the chair's original request and once again offered to appear on December 13th or any other date in December to answer any question pertinent and relevant to the subject matter. He again raised concerns about closed-door sessions. That's what brings us to today, Mr. Chairman. He has materially, substantially, in good faith, complied with what your requests were.
He complied with the subpoena.
We would have
expired.
We would have loved that.
Do any other members wish to be heard? Chair recognizes.
if you really had the facts on your side, let me say this before playing more, and it just gets better and better and better, so stick around for all of it. If you really had the facts on your side, get Hunter Biden to come up, sit at that desk, and ask him your questions and expose the corruption of Joe Biden through Hunter Biden. But you don't have the facts on your side, and you know that, James. And then here's Nancy Mace being a child.
Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Comer. First of all, my first question is, who bribed Hunter Biden to be here today? That's my first question. Second question, you are the epitome of white privilege, coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring a congressional subpoena to be deposed. What are you afraid of? You have no balls to come up here and...
Mr. Chairman, point of inquiry.
You have no balls, she says. Wow. Congress, the United States Congress.
Mr. Chairman,
If
the gentle lady wants to hear from Hunter Biden, we can hear from him right now, Mr. Chairman. Let's take a vote and hear from Hunter Biden. What are you afraid of?
Hold on. Order.
Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Because you keep interrupting me.
I'll interrupt the chairman. I don't know that he's a lady.
So I know she's referencing what are stereotypically liberal phrases, right? But it just came off all really childish and I don't think landed the way that she was hoping that it would. And here is Jasmine Crockett responding to Nancy Mace's remarks there.
I just want to run it back, though, to the very beginning, because this is something that I just can't get over. I can't get over the gentle lady from South Carolina talking about white privilege. It was a spit in the face, at least of mine as a black woman, for you to talk about what white privilege looks like, especially from that side of the aisle. And let me quote your now ousted speaker and what he had to say about the Republican Party and y'all's lack of diversity. When you look at the Democrats, they actually look like America. When I look at my party, we look like the most restrictive country club in America.
And that is a quote from Kevin McCarthy. Then we get to one more call out of Nancy Mace, and then we'll move on to Hunter Biden choosing the perfect time to leave the room. Here is Jared Moskowitz, Democratic congressman, saying, you know, Mace, you're talking about Hunter Biden being so scared to show up. Well, he's here. Let's do it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to see you after a long break. So I'm listening to the gentlelady from South Carolina about the witness being afraid to come in front of the committee. It's interesting. He's here. He doesn't seem to be too afraid.
And later he says, let's have a vote. Let's bring him up. Have him testify publicly. And of course, Republicans don't want that. These public hearings just don't go well for them, as we're seeing with this. The first one, the first impeachment inquiry hearing, I should say, that was public went so badly. James Comer was being reprimanded behind the scenes by the Republicans, saying, this went so bad. Why'd you let it happen that way? Or something to the effect of that. And then James Comer admitted to reporters, yeah, we don't have any plans for another public impeachment inquiry hearing. That's how bad it went, that they canceled any future ones. Because when Democrats are able to be in the room and correct the record on the nonsense of Republicans, and Republicans aren't just safe on their little Fox News, shows and softball questions only, and they actually get challenged, that goes poorly. And then it can get out of their control, as we saw here. Just fantastic. Then you have this so hilarious. Hunter Biden obviously very purposely leaves right whenever it's Marjorie Taylor Greene's chance to speak.
Gentlemen, time's expired. Chair recognizes Ms. Greene from Georgia for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
Whoa! Oh.
I'd like to reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman.
Burst their bubble. Wow, that's too bad.
That's too bad. Indeed. And the genius of this is that, as was noted, as this was being reported on, the other networks cut away whenever Hunter Biden left. Because now the big newsworthy part's over. You saw there, the cameras follow him, then they stopped covering the hearing. They covered it while he was there, you got all this huge press around Hunter Biden. Oh my gosh, he's there. And Democrats are saying, why can't we have Hunter Biden testify now? Republicans are saying, we don't want that. And boom, boom, boom. And then it's Marjorie Greene's chance on national TV to spread her conspiracy theories. Hunter Biden leaves. Networks stop covering it, at least the mainstream networks. It's genius. It's so genius. And here was Marjorie Greene very unhappy about this.
Sits here with a smug look on his face and runs away when it's my turn to talk. Not only is he a criminal, but he is a coward.
Okay, so you can tell it worked. And listen, nobody's saying that Hunter Biden's our hero or the epitome of character, please. We're saying this was awesome, okay? And what Republicans have been doing to him, his family, and Joe Biden is just completely unjustified. So good for him. One of the things I say a lot, and I have more to show you in just a second, but one of the things I say a lot is I wish Democrats would play the game a little bit more, right? Republicans lean into these stunts. They lean into all of it. And as long as you're doing the, again, sort of stunts or the PR type things in a way that's aligned with the truth and facts, do them still. Play the game. Don't violate your principles and then start being dishonest like we see so much with Republicans, especially extreme ag Republicans. But do try to drive the public narrative, the public discourse, try to drive the media conversations. And that's what Hunter Biden did here. I saw reporting about how Hunter Biden is sort of fed up now that he's had to be so quiet. And so the capital remarks that he delivered when he was supposed to show up based on the subpoena in front of this closed door deposition a month ago or a couple months ago, whenever that was his step one in being more aggressive. And so I guess this is step two, and I'm loving it because Republicans, they don't know how to handle it. You saw here, they just kind of implode. Then here is Democratic Congressman Robert Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's really interesting to hear the gentlelady from Georgia speak about Hunter Biden leaving, and she is the person that showed nude photos of Hunter Biden in this very committee room, showing dick pics in this committee room of Hunter Biden. I have my 5 minutes, gentlelady, and so I think it's really ironic, hypocritical. Quite shameful that the person is complaining about somebody leaving when she's showing nude photos of him to this committee.
Yeah, why would he want to stay? Is she going to whip out another poster board with his nudes on it like she did? Like a weirdo? Of course he should leave. It's perfect. And I'm so happy he did it during hers. Oh, and she didn't capitalize on the moment. I feel like there's a way that you could respond that could make you seem like the protagonist, but she failed for sure. Then here is Jared Moskowitz again, calling out the hypocrisy. Republicans are so horrified that Hunter Biden would not comply with their subpoena when many of them have not complied with congressional subpoenas.
Listen, I'll make this bipartisan. I'll vote for the Hunter contempt today. You can get my vote. But I want you to show the American people that you're serious. Here is the subpoena to Representative Scott Perry, who did not comply. I'd like to enter this into the record. Here is the subpoena to Mark Meadows. I'd like to enter this into the record, who did not comply. Here is the subpoena to Jim Jordan, who did not comply with a lawful subpoena. I'd like to enter that into the record. Here is the subpoena to Mo Brooks, who did not comply. I'd like to enter that into the record. Here is the subpoena to Mr. Biggs, who did not comply. I'd like to enter that into the record. And here's the subpoena to Mr. McCarthy, who did not comply. I'd like to enter that into the record. There's an amendment coming to add some of those names into the contempt order.
Yeah, so especially during the January 6th Select Committee investigation, Republicans left and right were not complying with subpoenas. But now they're horrified. Jim Jordan didn't comply, then goes on Fox News and says, how dare Hunter Biden not comply? At least Hunter Biden said he would do it publicly. I didn't see Jim Jordan showing up at the January 6th Select Committee saying, interview me here. My goodness. And the same point was made here by AOC. This will be the last clip we watch.
Themselves. You've got members who've defied subpoenas. You've got members who we are 1 year into the term asking what the rules are at the beginning of the committee,
Marjorie.
the book was given to us on day one. And so what we should do is allow the man to testify. I believe in the power of the Oversight Committee. Frankly, I believe in it regardless of whether Republicans or Democrats have the chair, because I believe that this committee should have the power of oversight. And we cannot do that on a partisan basis.
So let me say this. Is showing up in a public forum when you've been subpoenaed to testify privately, complying with that particular subpoena? Of course it's not. Whoops. Was this a stunt? Yes. And this is what I'm talking about. If they're going to play their games, let's also engage in media-minded activities that are fact-based, truth-based, honest, right? Again, do not violate your principles and the truth, but try to grab a hold of the discourse and pull it in your direction as Hunter Biden just did. What's the reporting going to be? James Comer slams potential criminality of Hunter Biden. No, it's not going to be that. It's going to be Hunter Biden shows up and Republicans pee their pants. No, kidding. It's not going to be that. But I do just have to say, Republicans, you lost. You did. This L. It is, okay? I usually don't speak like that. I know it's a little taunting, but just go in private, regroup. This was a disaster for you. And credit to Democrats, credit to Hunter Biden on this. Really wonderful day in America, frankly. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Let me know if you'll like these sort of breaking news, off the cuff segments on occasion that aren't so well prepared, but are a little bit more in the moment. Definitely was fun. And let me know what you thought of all of that.